on the Dolphin 7. We just got done whale watching this morning. That's why our hair is a little messed up. Peter, if you could tell us a little bit about the Center for Coastal Studies, I'd appreciate it for all the kids who will be watching the Great American Dolphin Whales.
Well, the Center for Coastal Studies is a whale research center. It's called the Cetacean Research Center. It's located in Provincetown, and we've been studying whales in the western North Atlantic Ocean since the mid-1970s. Most of the work that we're involved in revolves around humpback whales, although we carry out research during the winter months when the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale comes into these waters. Typically, the North Atlantic right whale is a whale that breeds and gives birth off the coast of Florida and Georgia. It's critically endangered, less than 300 left in the world. Our population study of humpback whales, let's see, we have a poster here. Our population study of humpback whales relates to the underside of the whale's tail. The whale's tail is called a fluke, and every single black and white pattern on the underside of every single humpback whale's fluke in the world is as different as your fingerprints. So we photograph the whale's tail when it dives, and by photographing the patterns on the underside of these whales' flukes, we can tell who the whale is. The pattern rarely ever changes. The babies are born down near the islands of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico in the Caribbean during January, and then the babies swim northward to these feeding grounds around New England waters and off of Cape Cod during the summer months. They arrive here in April, they swim with their mothers, and they're still nursing, and they gain about 200 pounds a day nursing, drinking milk from their mothers throughout the feeding season while the mothers and the other males and female adults are feeding. And then during the fall, in September, October, November, all of the whales leave this area and migrate, just like birds do, back down to the waters, the warm waters of the Caribbean. The humpback whales are the focus of our research and have been for over 20 years.
Tell us a little bit about your bird experience.
Well, quite honestly, I think birds are way more cool than whales, although I love whales a lot, but ever since I was a little boy, I've loved birds, and in fact seabirds are really my passion. And since 1974, actually 1976, which was quite a long time ago, I've been studying seabirds called terns. One of those species of terns, the roseate tern, is an endangered species, a federally endangered species. And they nest here in Massachusetts. In fact, the largest nesting ground of roseate terns in all of North America is on a small island in Buzzards Bay called Bird Island. And about 1,500 pairs of roseate terns and about the same number of common terns nest there each year. And I began as a warden. I began as a college student who loved birds, who wanted to work around birds, and got a job as a warden, putting up signs around the nesting colonies, talking to people about the birds' nesting colonies, studying the predation in those nesting colonies. And really what I did was I took something that I loved to do ever since I was a little boy, which was birds, and I made it into my life career. So now I'm one of those very lucky people who gets to do really cool things like study whales and study birds and teach people about these things as an adult. And I've traveled twice to South America to study terns, and interestingly enough, people in South America eat the very same birds which we protect here in North America. But it's part of their culture, it's what they do and how they live. So when I went there to study it, I didn't go there to tell them that what they were doing was wrong. I just went there to get a better understanding of it. So really my passion and my profession in life is a seabird specialist who works for a whale research center who has a title of education director. So I'm involved both in education, teaching, and research, and I love my job.
Great. It's so interesting that when we're out watching these humpback whales lunge feed, the birds that are sitting on their noses and flying around the lunge feeding are eating the same food that these giant whales are eating.
Well, certainly the ocean is rich in all sorts of food types, but the small fish that the whales eat, called sand eels, are also the prime food of the birds. And this type of behavior is called commensalism. And you have to look that up in a dictionary. Commensalism. What that means is that one type of animal is benefiting with little effort from the behavior of another animal. And that is to say, the whales are driving all the fish to the surface, and the birds just have all the free pickings they want. Now, if it was symbiotic relationship, that would mean that the birds were helping the whales just as much as the whales are helping the birds. But the birds aren't really helping the whales. The birds are just taking advantage of all the fish that the whales are driving to the surface. So that's called commensalism. And the birds do. The birds get so fat, so full of fish, they can't even fly. They just sit on the water. So birds and whales work very closely together, eating small fish called sand eels out in the open North Atlantic Ocean.